Hey everybody, it's Allie with Cruise Blog. Today I'm going to be sharing about my recent experiences on board Royal Caribbean and Carnival's newest cruise ships. While each of these brand new ships had their flaws, I think that there was one that was clearly worse than the other. So let's get into it. Royal Caribbean and Carnival Cruise Line are two of the most recognizable names in the cruise industry. Both mainstream cruise lines focus on offering affordable, family-friendly vacations across their expansive fleets. However, after sailing on the newest ships from both cruise lines, I'm convinced that one mega ship stands out as the better choice. It's no surprise that the newest ships in each cruise line's fleet create the most buzz with state-of-the-art amenities, innovative thrills, captivating entertainment, revamped dining experiences, and sleek modern designs. For Carnival Cruise Line, the third Excel class ship is the Texas-based and sized Carnival Jubilee. As the newest ship in Carnival's fleet, the highly anticipated vessel was first launched in 2023 in Galveston, Texas. Designed specifically for the Texas market, Carnival Jubilee proudly displays the Texas star on her bow and only sails year-round itineraries from the Lone Star State. In July 2024, Royal Caribbean unveiled the latest and most exciting addition to its expanding fleet, which was Utopia of the Seas. As the sixth ship in the Oasis class, Utopia of the Seas specializes in weekend getaway itineraries to the cruise line's private island, Perfect Day at Coco Cay. With Royal Caribbean and Carnival Cruise Line having one of the biggest rivalries in the cruise industry, Carnival's Excel class ships are now directly competing with Royal Caribbean's Oasis class. This raises the question, which new cruise ship is the better choice? Within the last year, I've been lucky enough to cruise on both of these cutting-edge cruise ships. Last spring, I cruised with my sister on board Carnival Jubilee, only a few months after her highly anticipated debut. More recently, though, I also sailed on Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Utopia of the Seas, with my husband, parents, and grandparents for a winter getaway. Although each cruise was special and memorable, no cruise ship is without imperfections. Each ship had its strengths and weaknesses, but one mega ship was better than the other. Here's what it was like cruising on Royal Caribbean and Carnival's newest ships, and which one I would book again. Up first, let's talk about the ship's overview and their sizes. Cruise lines are designing ships to be larger than ever, essentially rivaling floating cities with thousands of people on board. Although I enjoy cruising on newer ships, I tend to prefer more mid-sized vessels with fewer crowds, such as Celebrity Cruises Edge-class ships. Even still, I was excited to experience the latest and greatest from both of these major cruise lines. Royal Caribbean has a reputation for building the world's largest and most technologically advanced cruise ships, and Utopia of the Seas is no exception. As the newest addition to the Oasis class, this massive vessel accommodates 5,600 passengers at double occupancy and measures an impressive 236,000 gross tons. On the other hand, Carnival was behind the curve for many years until their Excel class ships, which is the brand's first true mega ships. Within the last few years, Carnival has debuted cruise ships that were revolutionary and nearly 40% bigger than anything else they had built before. Carnival Jubilee follows the success of her sister ships, Carnival Celebration and Mardi Gras, as the third Excel class ship. The ship is slightly smaller than Royal Caribbean's newest ship, with Carnival Jubilee measuring 183,000 gross tons and accommodating around 5,300 passengers at capacity. Although Carnival Jubilee is 22% smaller in size, the Excel class ship can accommodate nearly the same number of passengers as Utopia of the Seas, with only a 5.2% difference in double occupancy. Because of this, Carnival Jubilee consistently felt more crowded than Utopia of the Seas. But don't get me wrong, both ships had crowding issues. This is one of the biggest downsides and the most common complaint of cruising on a mega cruise ship. Even still, Utopia of the Seas seemed to manage passenger flow more efficiently. While the ship could feel crowded at times with long lines for popular amenities, the crowds were more apparent on Carnival Jubilee. Next, let's talk about the design and decor of these mega ships. As the next-generation cruise ships, Utopia of the Seas and Carnival Jubilee both feature modern, sleek designs and vibrant decor. You'll find splashes of color and tropical accents on both ships, especially in their themed bars, lounges, and restaurants. In general, Royal Caribbean offers a more refined experience compared to Carnival. This reflects in the design of Utopia of the Seas as well, although both of these mega ships have their own distinctly modern features. Carnival Jubilee's design is a bit more flashy and bold, while Utopia of the Seas has a more subtle balance of modern elegance, innovation, and vibrance. In my opinion, both ships are beautifully decorated in their own way. Moreover, both mega ships are divided into different neighborhoods or zones. This design helps with crowd control and passenger flow on both vessels, although Carnival Jubilee did seem to have more bottlenecks. Some spaces didn't feel designed to accommodate the number of guests, such as the center stage atrium that struggles to fit enough guests during the popular shows. Also, the stadium style seating is placed in front of a busy walkway, and this is disruptive for those who are wanting to watch the headliner performances. On the other hand, Utopia of the Seas has more outdoor space and ocean views, such as the aft-facing boardwalk and the greenery-packed Central Park. Those who prefer more opportunities for fresh air will appreciate Royal Caribbean's incorporation of these open-aired spaces on board the ship. Utopia of the Seas also features more innovative and technology-forward elements, such as the destination elevators. This reduces wait time for elevators and streamlines the movement between decks. These design choices, along with the focus on outdoor spaces and crowd management, made Utopia of the Seas feel more spacious and less cramped. Up next, let's talk about the dining experiences and food comparison. I consider dining to be one of the most important aspects of a cruise. Luckily, mega ships are typically packed with plenty of options for eating, including a wide variety of complimentary and specialty dining. Carnival Jubilee, though, shines with her endless options of casual, complimentary eateries on board. I was blown away by not only the number of dining options available, but also the quality served in these restaurants. From the juicy burgers at Guy's Burger Joint to the freshly battered and fried chicken sandwiches at Big Chicken and the smoky meats at Pig and Anchor Smokehouse, the food on Carnival Jubilee was definitely a highlight. Other options included the made-to-order Mexican at Blue Iguana Cantina, the fresh pizza at Coastal Slice, the grab-and-go snacks at Java Blue Cafe, and specialty-style dinners at Chibang and Cucina del Capitano. Not to mention, you can also dine in the main dining room or Lido Marketplace buffet, although Carnival Jubilee's buffet was my least favorite option. That being said, the specialty dining options are more limited on Carnival Jubilee. While you can find Carnival staples like the Fahrenheit 555 Steakhouse and the Bonsai Sushi and Teppanyaki, there are only 4 specialty restaurants to choose from. With so many included dining options, though, I really didn't feel the need to splurge on a specialty dining meal. In comparison, Utopia of the Seas offers an impressive selection of specialty dining options. In fact, there are nearly as many specialty venues as there are complimentary, and Royal Caribbean specialty dining is among my favorite in the industry, so I was excited to try 3 different restaurants during my cruise: Chops Grill Steakhouse, Giovanni's Italian Kitchen, and Mason Jar. Our specialty dining experiences at Chops Grill and Giovanni's exceeded my expectations, and they offered attentive service and a more intimate ambiance that made the meals feel really special. Although the Southern-inspired Mason Jar brunch was slightly disappointing, we appreciated trying the new restaurant concept. Other specialty restaurants included Playmaker Sports Bar, the 150 Central Park, and Izumi Sushi. Perhaps the most unique restaurant, though, is the Royal Railway, which is an immersive locomotive dining experience which is unlike anything else at sea. Unlike Carnival Cruise Line, I would argue that Royal Caribbean could improve their complimentary restaurant selection and their snack options. Most of the quick bites were a little bit bland and forgettable during my cruise on Utopia of the Seas, and they lacked that lasting impression that I found on Carnival Jubilee with their signature eateries. This is one area where Carnival Jubilee took the cake, more specifically, the Carnival signature melting cake. Alright, now let's compare the entertainment and production shows. When it comes to entertainment, Royal Caribbean is the industry leader. While some cruise lines are making cost-cutting measures for entertainment, Royal Caribbean is continuously pushing the boundaries. One of the major highlights of our cruise on board Utopia of the Seas was the unparalleled entertainment and headliner shows. The latest cruise ship from Royal Caribbean featured 2 major production shows: the high-diving water spectacle named Aqua 82 and the ice skating production named Utopia. You won't find this level of entertainment on other cruise lines. While the Aqua 82 show incorporated 3D aerials, high divers, stunts, and synchronized swimmers, Utopia incorporated Olympic levels figure skating and jaw-dropping jumps, twirls, and spins. Reservations were required to see these shows, and that was a little bit stressful, but the effort was absolutely worthwhile. However, this doesn't mean Carnival Jubilee's entertainment was not impressive. In general, Carnival focuses on hosting high-energy, interactive entertainment for guests. This includes deck parties, comedy clubs, game shows, and sing-along piano bars. During my cruise, Carnival Jubilee's main production show was Rio Carnival. The cruise line also performs in-house headliner shows known as Playlist Productions. These shows included We Are One, The Residency, and Dear Future Husband. Carnival Jubilee's entertainment is a little bit more simplistic, but it's still enjoyable. In the end, it's tough to compete with the refinement and complexity found on Utopia of the Seas. In my opinion, Carnival Jubilee's entertainment lacks that same wow factor that you'll find on Royal Caribbean's newest and biggest ships. Now let's compare the onboard thrills and attractions. The bigger the ship, the more onboard thrills you'll find. With both of these mega ships, you can find innovative, state of the art attractions for the entire family to enjoy. However, you'll find more complimentary onboard thrills when cruising with Royal Caribbean compared to Carnival. To start, Carnival Jubilee features one of the first roller coasters at sea, known as Bolt, the Ultimate Sea Coaster. Unfortunately, though, this ride comes at a steep cost of $15 per rider for only 2 laps around a small track. The adrenaline pumping ride is exciting, but the cost adds up quickly for families with multiple riders. Luckily, there are other attractions on Carnival Jubilee that are included in the cost of your cruise fare. Cruisers can take on the thrilling water slides in Waterworks or climb aboard the suspended obstacle course on the Ropes course. Comparatively, Utopia of the Seas featured more included attractions for thrill seekers. There's no shortage of excitement, and all without stretching your budget. Although I'm not necessarily someone who's craving adventurous activities while cruising, I was impressed with how many options were available on Utopia of the Seas that didn't cost extra. And for this reason, I found Utopia of the Seas to offer better value than Carnival Jubilee with more attractions and fewer add-on costs. Now let's compare the stateroom and cabin variety. Royal Caribbean and Carnival have both expanded cabin options aboard their newest ships. You can find a variety of staterooms that fit many different budgets, needs, and preferences. During my cruise aboard Carnival Jubilee, I sailed in a cove balcony stateroom for the first time. The higher-end cabin featured a larger stateroom with a more spacious design, along with the cove-enclosed private balcony. I was impressed with the modern amenities, functional design, and thoughtful details in Carnival Jubilee's cabins. In addition, Carnival's Excel-class ships offer themed cabins, including the Cuban-inspired Havana suites and the kid-focused family harbor cabins. These cater to a specific demographic while offering additional amenities, such as an exclusive family lounge with kid-friendly snacks. Unfortunately, Carnival's standard cabins felt more cramped than Royal Caribbean staterooms. While sailing on Utopia of the Seas, we booked a cheap interior cabin to save money. However, we were still impressed with the amount of space we had in our smaller stateroom. Our cabin even had its own couch for additional seating, which is something notable in Carnival's interior cabins that they lacked. Those wanting a more upscale stateroom experience will want to choose Utopia of the Seas, as Royal Caribbean has really expanded their suite selection. For example, you can try Star Class suites for the most luxurious suite experience with Royal Caribbean. Even though these suites are pricey, they offer unparalleled and personalized experiences for cruisers. In the end, I preferred more aspects of my cruise on Utopia of the Seas compared to Carnival Jubilee. From the impressive entertainment to the specialty dining and better crowd management, Utopia of the Seas was the clear winner for me. That said, it's undeniable that Utopia of the Seas comes with a higher price tag, but in this case, I think you get what you pay for. Despite paying nearly the same daily rate for both cruises, I was able to book a higher-end cabin on Carnival Jubilee, while Royal Caribbean's Utopia of the Seas offered more amenities, better entertainment, and a wider selection of included attractions. Although I wouldn't hesitate to cruise on Carnival Jubilee again, or any Excel-class ship for that matter, I've already booked another weekend getaway on Utopia of the Seas for next year. I prefer shorter getaway cruises on mega ships, and the closer location of Port Canaveral is much more convenient for me than traveling to Galveston, Texas. Alright everybody, that is all we have for today. Comment below if you have cruised on either of these two ships and which one you prefer. Thanks for tuning in today, and be sure and like and subscribe to Cruise Blogs so that you can be notified every time we have a new video. Until next time, happy cruising.